Hey guys, Dan with Rep Fitness here. Today we are doing the assembly video on our PR-5000. All right, so first we'll go over the hardware. Here's our pile of bolts here. You should have 24 bolts for just our 4-post rack. They're gonna be the 1-inch bolts here. You're gonna have a nut, a lock washer, and 2 flat washers on each bolt. The size that you're gonna need for these bolts is gonna be a 36 socket. And I use an adjustable wrench. It's possible to do with 2 adjustable wrenches if that's all you have. Socket and a ratchet just make it a little more convenient. All right, so first step, we have our uprights laid out here, got our cross members. We're gonna lay the uprights just kind of facing this way here. You'll notice numbers on each side. Just make sure those are oriented correctly. You'll notice this bottom plate here, there's kind of a left and a right. I always have more material facing the outside. So I have both uprights laid out here. What I'm gonna do is put on each cross member, top and bottom, and then we're gonna go to the other side and do the same thing. And once we're done with that, we're gonna stand both sides up and then connect our logo plate and pull-up bar. So again, with the numbers on the cross members, if you're OCD like me, face those accordingly. I always like to put the 1 in the front and the 19 in the back. This is our 41-inch 5000. Also comes in 30 and 24. So if you get the 30 and the 24, it's obviously not going to go up to 19. And there's really a lot of ways to build this. You can see that there's multiple holes that you could place these cross members in. There's no real right or wrong way to do it. I always just use the bottom hole and the top hole. So that's what I'm gonna do today. All right, so we got our bolt here. Gonna put 1 flat washer on the bolt. Get that through the upright and the cross member. Then we're gonna go with the flat washer again. Then the lock washer, and then our nut. So for now, I'm just gonna keep everything hand tightened. I'm not gonna worry about tightening anything until the end. And kind of the reason that I like to do that is just if you tighten everything now while it's on the ground, it's not really in position, you'll get it upright, and then it'll kind of fight you a little bit getting either the pull-up bar or the logo plate on. With just a basic rack setup like this, it's not a huge deal, but that's just kind of the way that I've learned to do it. Makes it a little easier. All right, now that we have this side fully assembled, we will go ahead and move over to the other side. So on the back here, just a helpful tip, I usually like to put the bolt in facing towards the back. I've got the front up here, so I'm gonna have the bolt facing towards the back, and that's just helpful in case you're putting on the weight storage. It just keeps you from having to remove that bolt entirely again to put on the other cross member for the weight storage. All right, now that we have both sides built, got our cross members on, we're gonna go ahead and stand both sides up. This is where you'll probably wanna bring in a helper if you are doing it this way. So I'm gonna have one of our guys come over so he can hold both sides for me while I put on the pull-up bar and logo plate. All right, so I brought in my taller buddy, taller version of me, Matt here to help me with these sides. So we'll go ahead and stand those up now. So stand them up, space them accordingly. I always like to just kind of bring in the pull-up bar here, space it out. Looks like I'm pretty close there before I get up there with my bolts and everything and realize that I need to come back down and put them closer together. All right, first thing, get up here on my step stool. I'm just gonna put the bolt kind of in place where it needs to be for now. I'm gonna do that to both sides. Going right here, right behind the 1. Get that up. And now that I have this in place, just kind of pop that through. Swing it up like so. And get in that second bolt. That'll keep holding it until I get all my nuts on. And I always like to do the pull-up bar first, just because it's a little lighter. It's easier to maneuver than the logo plate. All right, now that we have our pull-up bar on, we're gonna move on to the logo plate. Got Matt here helping me out again. You can do this step by yourself. Done it before, kind of same way. Just get your bolts up there, lift up the logo plate. Helps if you're on a ladder or a step stool. Pop one end in, pop the other side in, and then go from there. But today, got a helper, so Matt's gonna help me out. He's gonna be standing, I'm gonna be on my step stool. Lift her up here. And we're going all the way to the top bolt at the top of the upright. So again, I got my bolt in the top hole here. If you're really struggling to get that nut on the back side, just go ahead and move it down one hole, and it's gonna still support just fine, so no problem there. All right, so those of you that have bought our PR-5000 weight storage, pretty simple setup, kind of just like the rack. Whole lot of different variations you can do with the weight horns, kind of depending on what plates that you purchased with your rack, or if you already have plates, you're gonna space those out differently, but I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown on how you set up the weight storage. And just so you guys know, the way that we set up one is gonna be the exact same way that we set it up on the other side. So for video's sake, I'm just gonna do one today. All right, so first step, if you haven't already, if you're currently building your rack, maybe these bolts are already loose, but if they're already tight, we're gonna need to loosen the 2 bolts down here and the two bolts up top here in the back of the rack. So we'll start at the bottom here. I've already loosened mine. Take both nuts off. Take our 16-inch cross member. Again, numbers, if that matters to you. Again, I always put the 1 in the front. And we're gonna grab our upright. And just like how we were building the PR-5000, it's just gonna be the exact same. 1 washer on one side, flat washer, lock washer, nut. And we'll move up to the top. Again, make sure those bolts are loose. And still on the top cross member here, get these couple bolts lined up on it. And then just to help hold it, I'm gonna put in another bolt on the upright. So now we have the frame part done. Basically just adding another upright to make it a 6-post rack rather than a 4-post. Now we're gonna add our weight horns. And as you can see here, lots of options for holes. Again, whatever plates that you have is gonna determine where you wanna place your weight horns. Put one on, maybe throw a bumper plate on it or whatever plate you're using, and that way you can space it out accordingly for the next weight horn and keep going with that process. Again, same bolt structure, bolt, washer, flat washer, lock washer, nut, same as it's been. So we got one on. After that, this is gonna be the same thing all the way up to the top. All right, guys, and last thing, if you don't plan on bolting your rack down, it's gonna be plenty stable, but just kind of a recommendation, we do offer our rear base stabilizer. It's gonna go right here on the back side. Basically mount it right above the cross members here. And that's just gonna add a little bit of added support. If you guys are looking for that, if you're not bolting it down, we do recommend it. You're also gonna need it if you are planning on putting on the lat low row on this rack. You're going to need this rear base stabilizer anyhow, so might just be a good idea to get it. All right, now that we have this all built, we're gonna go ahead and tighten it up. Just a reminder, it's a size 36 socket that you'll need. I use an adjustable wrench on the other side of the bolt. If you have a wrench big enough, great. If not, adjustable wrench works. If you don't have a socket, 2 adjustable wrenches will do just fine. I've built plenty of them like that, but the socket just makes it a little easier, a little faster. All right, and that pretty much covers it for our PR-5000. Hope this video helps, and enjoy.